As you can see, I'm leaving a relatively long leader. This is several inches of leader, and the reason is because this will allow me to build up a whole lot more twist than if I had a short leader. And then I can quickly move that twist out into new yarn. That twist travels around the corner when I do this dancing maneuver to manage it. But I've got to get it out there very quickly, so that means I have to build up a lot of it fairly fast. I feed this back off of where I've temporarily stored it on my fingers. Keep an eye on the spindle here and there. Check it from time to time to make sure that it's continuing to spin. And I'm able to move that twist out into new yarn as I'm going. And in this way I can control a very long length of this yarn and spin quite a lot in between wind-ons. Using a faster wind-on method, you can learn more about those in my book, Respect the Spindle, among other places. I can get quite a lot done. So here I'm making some leader. And then I'm keeping the structurally sound yarn on the spindle side from mixing 100% with the not structurally sound yet cotton that is being drawn out. I take the weight off by storing that temporarily on my hand. I wind on. I leave myself a long leader. I build up a bunch of twist. And now I've got a really long leader that I can use with a thigh roll, generating very fast moving twist that I can get out very quickly into the cotton that I'm spinning. Let's take a look at my cotton yarn. Flick and catch. Flick and catch. Longer leader. A long leader, long enough to allow a comfortable thigh roll, and long enough to hold the twist that is going to very quickly pile up from that while I'm getting my hands into drafting position. I can feel in the yarn that I'm starting to lose twist in the spindle, so I want to secure it by wrapping it up, bringing this back in range. And then I take that first bit of leader and wind it on. And I'm going to put more twist in this new piece of leader. And this is the same length that I originally just drew out. And I'm putting more twist in it to travel the length of everything that I'm drafting as I go here. Now, one of the advantages to spinning cotton this way is that, as you can see, I can do it while I'm moving around. Many of the conventional methods that are used for spinning cotton involve a supported method or a tool that is hard to walk around with, such as a, or maybe challenging to walk around with, such as a charka or other driven spindle. Here's what happens when you don't have enough twist in your cotton yarn, is it starts to simply drift apart because it requires a great deal of twist to be structurally sound. To join new yarn, to join new fiber, simply build up a lot of twist, put unspun fiber near the spun portion of your yarn, and let that twist move out into the new fiber. Not structurally sound. My spindle is starting to slow down. You'll have to take my word for it because I can't get that in frame. Walk it up. Wind on. Before I get to the not structurally sound part, come up, put this through the notch, through the hook. Now here's that not structurally sound part, and I can hold it and twirl in hand without actually letting go of this spindle, so that it's still not bearing the weight of the spindle until it's ready to hold it, at which point then I need to get fiber out into my new yarn very quickly. Now my spindle's stopping moving, so I'm going to do something for parking and drafting, and just swing it on the yarn up under my elbow where I catch it, and I'm walking up and holding this there. Now I've got this pinched off on the structurally sound yarn, so I can set this in motion again and use the new twist that I'm generating and putting into that leader to make the yarn that I'm spinning up here structurally sound as I gradually let twist into it. And this yarn, I can tell, is not structurally sound yet because as I tug on it, it wants to keep slipping and drafting. So this finger twirling is not really quick enough. So the thigh roll, and look how fast that spindle is going. And now look how much twist I can get and how quickly I can deliver it out there. Make sure that it's structurally sound. Test it by seeing if it holds the weight of the spindle. If it does, you're good. Introduce more twist into that leader. Draft out. But, as you can see, the more that I draft out and the more fibers get in there, the more that twist spreads out over the length of all of the yarn that I'm making, and now my whole length is not structurally sound. So I've got a dilemma. What do? I'm going to store this in a figure 8 on this hand, pinch off again, start the twist going, move it out a bit at a time. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of this cotton yarn that I spun on this spindle off of here, keeping it under tension, and I'm going to use it for a leader to start off on my low whorl toy wheel spindle. With wool fibers, I usually will just finger spin my leader, but with cotton on a low whorl, I kind of like to have some pre-existing yarn. If I didn't have it, obviously I would finger spin it, but since I've got it, what the heck, I'll show you how to put a leader on and how to keep this yarn under tension while you do so. So here it is, the end coming off. I'm going to wrap it a couple of times around this middle finger to keep it secure, and I'm kind of pinching it between these two fingers. And now I'm going to wind a little off, bring my thumb up, wind a little off, bring my thumb up, bring it around my ring finger, and figure 8, figure 8, figure 8, figure 8, figure 8. Now I've got quite a bit of yarn there. I've got my smart fingers free, my thumb and forefinger, to be able to break this yarn. Now I'm going to put this spindle aside, and now I've got this spindle. What I'm going to do to get this started as a leader is just hold it on there and twirl until it stays. I twirl up the spindle shaft till I'm near the top, over, flip this around, put that right on there, and it slides on. I'm going to use 2 because I'm going to be setting this in motion pretty quick. Now I can set this in motion with a flick. Same flick and catch maneuver, by the way, that I used with the high whorl. So now I've got some of this brown cotton. Twirl to set in motion, flick and catch, flick and catch. I've got a bunch of yarn, I've got a bunch of twists stored up in this leader. I'm putting the unspun little bit and my new fiber that I'm going to start spinning right there in close proximity, giving it a twirl again, and gradually start moving that out. See how that moves right out? Now that's not structurally sound, remember, but my join is. I just got to get that twist out there pretty quickly and get twist into it so it's structurally sound. And then start moving it out into my newly forming yarn. I come up and I twist this slightly while grasping the half hitches. Twirl the spindle to wind on. Come up the shaft, half hitch, By the way, there's no one true spindle type that you have to use to spin cotton. For example, I thought I'd take just a moment and show that it's possible to spin it on this.